What's up? How y'all doing? It's Jared. This is a No Limit Knives Instigator. What? I'm really excited that this thing even exists, right? Because up until recent years, you haven't had a whole lot of options for an affordable double action automatic. You've had the Microtech, right? You've had, the Ultratech. It's going to cost you $350, $400, depending on the model you get, sometimes even more. They were crazy expensive. That, or you could have the $40 piece of crap that wasn't honestly even worth the $40 that you were going to pay for it. This thing has an MSRP of $150. You can actually afford to get that double action automatic in a durable, reliable knife. It's got D2 stainless steel blade, an excellent blade shape. I love the way that this thing is done. I don't know what to call that, a modified Warncliffe or a modified reverse Tonto or like a clip point, drop point kind of thing. I don't even know what to call this, but it's definitely a performance-oriented blade. Any sort of penetration you're going to have to do, the material is going to stretch around, immediately encounter that belly, so it's going to penetrate through material very well. As honest, and as well, you actually have the belly, right? You have the actual cutting ability with this thing, and so it's definitely a performance-oriented blade shape. And what is it about the double-action automatic knife that's just so freaking popular, right? You take the cool factor, you take all the mechanics, you take all of that actually out of the equation, and I truly believe that it's simplicity. It's simplicity and speed and ease of use. You pull this thing out of your pocket, cut whatever you got to cut, put it back into your pocket. It's faster, it's simpler, and it doesn't require the same muscle memory as something like this Benchmade Griptilian, because this thing is fast and it's easy to use. You have to actually use it. You have to actually develop that muscle memory in order to deploy it with any sort of speed. It's the same thing with a balisong, right? It's fast and it's easy to deploy, but there's still that muscle memory. There's still the actual ability for you to mess it up, right? If you're stressed out in a high stress situation, or if you're just mad because you've been carrying a bale of hay for 40 yards, you need to cut the thing open, your hands are tired. It's a lot easier to operate. It's literally just the push of a button. This thing being thicker, right? I'll compare it to an Ultratech here. It's actually thicker. There's more girth to it. That makes it easier to deploy. And as well, it doesn't have quite the same stiffness of spring as something like a Microtech, but that doesn't actually affect the overall reliability of it. I've never had these things fail to deploy, but at the same time, a lot of people have trouble actually pulling that handle back, pulling the trigger back and actually retracting these knives back into the handle. I don't run into that same problem with this. I'm not going to pretend like it's easy. It still does require a lot of thumb strength. If you've got weak hands, you're probably still not going to be able to operate this thing as well as you would other knives, but it is easier to operate. It is actually to do that retracting motion than something like a Microtech, right? So it's just an excellent option on the market that's actually affordable for these knives to come out. And it's got all these frills and thrills to it. It's a beautifully done blade. I love the satin finish on here. D2 steel blade, aluminum chassis. It's definitely a durable aluminum chassis as well. Here's a dagger version, which actually has a little bit of an interesting story. Check it out. Look at that. If you want to hear the story to what happened to this thing, I'll go get into that on the actual disassembly of them. But I love this carbon fiber. This marbled carbon fiber with the 3D milled texture pattern here actually gives more grip than you may suspect. It gives a lot of grip to this actual knife. It feels great in hand, and the cool factor of it, I love carbon fiber, right? It's all over the market now. Up until recent years, it was a little bit harder to come across. It was in specialty knives, specialty designs. There wasn't as much of it actually available. Let me switch the lights off here, because this thing has some awesomeness actually going for it, right? Give me a second. Check this out. This is one of the coolest freaking things I've seen on a knife in so long. It actually takes the fact that it's carbon fiber and amplifies it a little bit. You've got a cooler effect. Look at that. It's a better carbon fiber. I freaking love that. It's so dope. And it's layered, right? It's not the entire amount of carbon fiber in here that's actually got that glow-in-the-dark material in it. I don't know how they did that, but it runs through the actual pattern, right? It's only like one layer in here that actually gives you that carbon fiber, or that glow glow-in-the-dark effect. And so this thing just has some freaking cool factor to it that I haven't seen on a whole lot of other knives actually on the market. Flip all these lights back on. Give me a second. That is literally one of the coolest things that I can honestly think of that's happened, that I've seen on a knife come out in a very long time. That freaking glow-in-the-dark carbon fiber looks so good, and it's just not something you'd expect, right? Because carbon fiber isn't necessarily rare on knives today, but this brings it up to another level. It actually brings it up to another type of carbon fiber. If you're interested in this knife, the No Limit Knives Instigator, check out Weeby Knives on Pier 39 in San Francisco. If you want to buy a knife from a knife dude, go to Weeby Knives. It's one of the best shops, and it is the best shop in the Bay Area. It's one of the best shops on the planet for actually purchasing cutlery. This is a durable knife, right? It's got a lot of attributes that you may recognize from some other double action OTFs on the market. It's not exactly original. I'll get into that later again with the disassembly video of this thing. Yeah, show you the actual double, the actual blade, the dagger blade up against the actual whatever this thing is. Again, I don't actually even know what to call it. I freaking love this knife. Just the fact that it exists, the fact that it has the quality of materials that it does at the price point that it actually does on the market is an excellent option for that double action automatic. I am a freaking fan of this thing. The girth just gives so much, right? It actually gives so much, and there is just so much cool factor to these knives. It's got a blade length of 3.25 inches, blade thickness of 0.12 inches. The handle length is 5.25 inches. The handle thickness is 0.5 inches. So that's that fat, that girthiness that this thing's got to it that I absolutely love. It's one of the reasons that I like this Microtech Combat Trudon so much, is there's just more to hold on to here than in the option of the Ultratech. So this is kind of a marriage almost between the two as far as the way that it feels in hand. Overall length of 8.5 inches and a weight of 4 ounces. So it just comes into that convenient, extremely easy to use, extremely cool option. I freaking love this thing. If you're interested in this, actually, what? Interested in this Alpha Beast right here. This isn't an Alpha Beast, it's a replicant. This BRS replicant. My buddy Trev Flips on Instagram actually sent me, or I got this Friday and sent it to me. I actually got it from him in person. We're good friends. Check him out on Instagram. I'll put a link down into his bio below. If you want to see somebody who actually knows how to flip a bally song with some serious talent, check him out on Instagram. I'm just so freaking pumped that these things actually exist. I love that the reliable, durable, actually usable double action automatic for an affordable price is now a thing that's available, because it just hasn't been for so freaking long. And these things, you can beat the crap out of these things. You really can. Again, I'll get into the story of what happened to this thing in the disassembly video, but yeah. Freaking awesome knife. That glow-in-the-dark carbon fiber. I just can't get over that glow-in-the-dark carbon fiber. It's not going to show it up with the lights here, but it's so freaking dope. It's just one of the coolest things that's come out in a long time on the market, man. I freaking love this knife. That's it. Y'all have a good one.